I'm social commentator and all-round sarcastic bitch, Prue MacSween.
I frequently appear on such programs as Media Watch, and in my spare time, write for the Daily Telegraph. My name is Tim Blair.
I'm a displaced person from the ABC, podcaster, and indeed film and all-round recalcitrant. My name is Libbi Gorr.
Much like my colleague over at the Daily Telegraph, I too have been the subject of Media Watch and have been labelled a provocateur. I'm Libbi Zelic.
Hi, I'm the last showgirl, Carlotta. And boy, am I politically incorrect.
You certainly are, Carlotta. And I'm television and radio presenter Rob McKnight, the only person on this panel who's been on Media Watch for a good reason. Welcome to Beauty and the Beasts. And what a panel we have for you today. Will they get along or will they get fired up? Hopefully we'll see a bit of both. Carlotta, why don't you read out the first letter?
Okay. Well, Booties, you're going to love this. Maybe Tim might. This person wants to know if spouses have use-by dates. I feel I've outgrown my missus, who I married when I was 20 years old. She was 19, and we got along okay for several years. Had a couple of kids, but when my career took off, she was the same old, and she's put on weight. Oh, here we go. Not the girl I married. I feel I have left her way behind, and she's holding my career's prospects back. Oh, God almighty, what an arsehole. At work functions she attends with me, she has nothing to offer. In fact, I feel embarrassed taking her out with me. What should I do? What a complete arsehole you are. Roger from Tamarama. I tell you, darling, come over to my house. I'll put you straight. I tell you, girls, over to you. What an idiot.
Libbi, I saw you rolling your eyes. You're not happy with this one.
Roger's on his high horse, and I wondered if he's ever thought of just the one word that might fix this, which is analingus. Now, I'm not sure.
Frankly, I thought you were going to say divorce, so that tells you what I know.
It's funny to everything, isn't it? Just every single time. Drive through McDonald's, monolingus. Every single time.
It's something that could possibly help, because I don't know whether or not there has been any satisfaction for poor Roger's wife in this long marriage. No wonder she's an embarrassment. She is frustrated. So I would, if I were you, Roger, I would write down a list on one side of the piece of paper, all of the benefits that you get from your marriage to this woman. For instance, clean clothes, beautiful food, perhaps children, and a relationship with your children. And all the things that you put into the marriage. For instance, do you take the bins out? Do you support her? Do you be kind in the evening? And if on that side of the ledger the answer is no, you don't do anything, please do her a favour and go. But make sure you leave her with something more than the car, because that's not good enough to sleep in as a middle-aged woman who's put her life into raising a family. Go with the shirt on your back and let the woman have a life, for God's sake.
I tell you what, Wendy, you do want it all. You want to have a career and you want orgasms. I mean, come on.
Crazy, right?
Look, we actually reserve the right, and I feel that Roger is and should have been obligated to send a photograph of himself, because to answer his initial question, the spouses have a use-by date. Mate, by the time you get into your 70s, things are going to stop working. So I'd like to check out your use-by date at that point too, my friend.
Tim, are you going to defend this guy?
Oh, this is a tough one. But, there's a few warning signs straight away. We got along okay for several years. That's not something you say about a life partner, a spouse. It's something you say about someone you hooked up with Tinder date during COVID. It's not a positive or friendly even starting point, is it? The other thing about, I'm assuming Roger from Turramurra is 40-ish, something like that. That sort of vibe is coming through. Quite often, blokes in this sort of zone who are getting a bit tired of the wife and think that if they could just ditch this drag on them, that they could play the field again. It'd be like back when they were in their 20s. It'd be just so much fun. Instead of just flirting with the girls in the office, they could actually take it a step further. But it doesn't work like that. It never works like that. we've all seen situations like this. What happens is the friendly, flirty girls in the office, one of the reasons they're friendly and flirty is you're not threatening. You're the nice guy who has the wife and kids. So it's all charming and fun and friendly. As soon as the wife and kids are out of the picture, you're a filthy old pervert and they will have nothing more to do with you. Roger's making a lot of mistakes. He's making a ton of errors here. And writing a letter like this is just an extra one. So you're on your own there, Rog. You and Vladimir Putin, son.
Prue, that's actually some really good advice, isn't it? Because Roger obviously thinks he's a bit of a player and could do better without the wife, but he might be in for a harsh lesson.
He definitely will, Rob. I mean, the guy has probably stopped rogering his wife. And as Libbi said, she's, she just needs a bit of cunning lust in the bedroom. I won't, get my tongue around the other thing.
Well, maybe he needs to.
Definitely haven't got your tongue around her thing. Yeah, exactly. But I think you'd be doing her a major favour if you just walked away. I mean, she could do better than you. You're just an asshole. You're up yourself. You obviously think you're superior to her. So I think do her a favour, and I hope that she takes you for everything you've got and she goes and finds someone who appreciates her.
Well, Roger, we appreciate your question, but there is no love here from the Beauty and the Beast panel. Thanks for writing in. Our next letter covers an issue that has been making news and dividing the community. Libby, what does Shelley have to ask?
Shelley has written a letter. He says, "Dear Booties and Beasties, there has been a lot of talk lately about men who claim to identify as women wanting to play in women's teams. I agree it isn't safe or fair, but I have another dilemma because I coach a senior women's team of soccer players. Many of these players are LGBTQI, and I love the fact that they encourage under 16 girls to train with them. All the girls wander around in full display in the change area, and this makes some of the younger girls embarrassed and feel awkward. What I want to know is, where are my responsibilities and obligations? Where do they lie when it comes to etiquette in change rooms? I just don't know how to handle this." That's what she says, Shelley. Now, this is why they put governance into sporting clubs, Shelley. It's actually not up to you to make a judgment call. There are rules with all sorts of regulations when it comes to sporting bodies. And generally, you shouldn't be mixing players who are over 18 with players who are younger 18 in changing rooms without there being some sort of supervision. The problem with this question is it actually illuminates an issue that we all know is true, which we try not to talk about too much, which is that sometimes adults can take advantage of children. And the reason why it makes news all the time is that every time it happens, we think, how the fuck could this happen again? So what you need to do is follow the rules and regulations, the governance of the sporting communities. You need to let the adult players know that there are younger players that are coming in. You need to talk to the younger players about their rights and their roles in terms of modesty and privacy. You also need to speak to the parents, because this isn't something that you can just abrogate and make someone else's issue. The parents need to say to their kids, if they are in the changing rooms, that they have every right to protect their modesty and not to feel pressured, whether they're girls or they're boys.
I think the problem is also that younger girls, younger boys, they're very conscious, they're body aware, they're embarrassed, they're changing, so, their bodies. And I feel that you've got to be so careful about exposing them to this stuff. And there needs to be a protocol, as Libbi said, because, these days we just don't know what your kids are entering. It could be, as you say, where maybe a trans is in a female toilet, and that is a huge concern for a lot of parents. So you just have to take responsibility. You have to arm your kids with awareness, and you also need to supervise them when you can to protect them.
We're not talking about trans here in this letter. We're talking about older women and younger women, aren't we?
It could be anything. Yeah, it could be anything. Yeah, you're right. It could be anything, though. If you're entering a change room these days.
We're talking about older men and younger men as well.
Exactly. It applies.
Yeah.
So with the fact is that a lot of younger people are body conscious and don't want us be mixing with older people in the change room when they're showing all their old droopy bits.
No, and so from having worked in sport for the better part of my career, having grown up with sport, I'm still married to sport, unfortunately, in many ways. I'd like to say good man in spite of the sport. But some of the issues that we're kind of looking at and have experienced historically now have been this very problem of minors in the presence of, people who are well in their 30s, 40s, and the list goes on. We are reliant now very much so on sports governing bodies to have procedures in place which extend right down to the grassroots level. A lot of people and coaches are aware of this particular issue. So in many instances, what they're doing now is they're encouraging the younger girls who are feeling perhaps uncomfortable to go into designated cubicles and to get changed if that's certainly something that they would prefer. But back in the bad old days, the way that it was treated, particularly with men in dressing rooms, right? Young boys, minors, as young as 15 years of age were being told, oh no, don't go and shower with your undies on, that's being ridiculous, you pansy, you better take them off.
About it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So there has to be a level of sensitivity around this because we're talking about minors and across several different sporting codes. I've heard some horror stories about, and particularly young players as young as 14 going into dressing rooms and being told, oh, you're straight, are you? Well, we'll see what we can do about that. So take away the issue of LGBT out of this. I think that this is more to do with just a gender issue and sensitivities around minors in these spaces and being aware of that and not forcing them into scenarios where they feel uncomfortable.
Tim, from the male perspective, what do you think?
Well, I am shocked, Rob and panelists, to learn that there are lesbians in women's soccer. Point. The other thing I'd say is if you are in a situation where it's your job to supervise or monitor or look after people who are under 16, and those people, you can perceive that they are feeling uncomfortable, it's your job to do something to stop that. In this case, I wouldn't say that it's, as Libbi wants, fall back on the regulations and the rules we have and so on. Maybe it doesn't even need that. Maybe it's just, you guys get changed over there with your fellow young people behind this, whatever it may be, and the older women can get changed in a separate sort of zone. And it's I think a fairly simple way to solve what might be an otherwise vexing thing. Just separate and everyone's happy.
Being shamed in change rooms and toilets has always been a thing. I remember being at the urinal once and a guy said to me, shake it more than 3 times and that's a wank. And I thought to myself, well, you must be doing it wrong. For more Booty and the Beasts content, join us on social media. We're on Instagram and TikTok at Booty and the Beasts AU. You are watching or listening to Booty and the Beasts, and our next letter is a classic battle of the sexes. Prue, it could only be you. Take it away.
Dear Booties, I want to know, what is it with men? As they get older, they become more like children. They can't make a decision for themselves. They have a boy look when they can't find their glasses, keys or wallet. And they expect to be waited on when they come home from work. And if I get asked what's for dinner after I'd had my own busy day at my job, I want to throw it at him. Don't get me started on their selective hearing issues. I'm sick of telling my bloke something. 10 minutes later, he asks me about the same thing. I'm beginning to think that they're only useful for one thing, and that's putting out the bloody garbage, but only when I nag him to do it. Well, Wendy, I see and hear your frustration, and I think most of the women on this panel would too. We've got to understand that men are really simple. Some would even say, if we can say the word retarded, in their development. And I blame, in fact, the women in their lives, their mothers. So many mothers pander to their little boys and create these inept adults. And sadly, I blame you women who don't raise your sons or have a brain.
This is complete chaos, Prue. Prue. I love you. I love you like a grandmother.
You bastard.
Can I just say, Prue and I are pretty much the same age, just quite a few years difference. Can I say, I think the problem here is that women expect men to change, right? You marry someone, you fall in love with someone, he's got this boyish charm, he's youthful, he has this energy, but 20 years later, he's still doing the same things, he's still making the same mistakes, and he's still got that energy, he's still singing around the house. I mean, is this frustrated Wendy from Boxhill, or is this Amanda McKnight from the Gold Coast, who's just over there? Because I feel like Amanda could be writing this letter because the things that she used to love about me, she don't love about me these days. Am I on? Is that fair, Lucy?
Look, I've got a different take on this. I'm a stay-at-home mum. I serve my man dinner every night. I wash his clothes. I look after his children, and I take care of our home. I would venture to say that for all of the feminists out there that think that's regressive and taking us back centuries, I'd venture to say that they haven't tried it yet, because I have a very happy life. I'm a happy wife, and I have a great relationship. It's ironic that Wendy's from Box Hill. If she's complaining so much about men, how about you bat for the other team, love? Because this isn't going to change. We know men have look. We know that they're hopeless when it comes to certain things. And if you're upset about standard or traditional gender roles, then why are you still expecting him to take out the garbage, Wendy? Why don't you do it too, love? And while you're at it, go and build a house and lay the roads that we're all benefiting from, because men have built and laid the pavement. So spare me this nonsense about constantly attacking men. I love wine, and maybe you should try making him a sandwich with a smile, Wendy. It might help you out from time to time.
I really can't imagine what you think of that.
Well, I'm delighted. I am delighted. I feel like I've just experienced my own kind of sociological time travel. I mean, I just dumped this one out of a shoebox that was under her or something.
We do have the old letters from Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, let me just get one thing clear. When a child is conceived in the womb, it is just a blastocyst. It's got no gender. And then somewhere along the line, within the development of that blastocyst...
Sorry, just searching up a blastocyst. What does that mean?
Blastocyst. That is when and it's the first little explosion of life. Let's not get into any debates as to when it becomes life, because quite frankly, that's a whole other episode.
It is.
Somewhere along the line, it gets flushed with hormones, and that little cell, because everything starts off as a female cell, it gets flushed with hormones, and that becomes a male cell, with the amazing results that 49% of all babies born are male, 51% of all babies born are female, and the extra 1% inextricably become real estate agents. That aside, what you need to understand Wendy in Box Hill, that I have a solution for you. I think I need to introduce you to Roger in Taramara, because two of you or each other feel that out of two negatives, we've made a positive. Not only that, it's going to be a long distance relationship, and you're going to be very happy till the end of time.
Libby and I think alike. I tell you, now I love being single. I lived with someone for 20-something years, 9 shirts I used to iron, picking up the underwear, doing all that crap, cooking. Well, I still cook, but I cook for the neighbours now. They call me Meals on Heels. But anyway, I just love being single. I mean,
why wouldn't you? You've got a different man each night at that place on the Gold Coast. I've seen.
It is me. Are you calling me a son?
Oh, much more than that, my darling.
Yeah. No, excuse me. My motto in life is do your bit, and then show them the door.
I think Wendy should be maybe tased or something for elder abuse, because there's this line that as they get older, they become more like children. Now, how old we are, because I'm pretty sure once we get above, say, 90 or 95 odd, most of us are going to be a bit more like children. You know,
Oh.
This is pointing towards a very troubling age-related discrimination issue, and I'll be raising this with my friends. You can bet on that.
Well, I'm not 90, Tim, but I reckon I'm still a kid at heart, and that leads to most of the issues in my household. I'll just put it that way. For more Booty and the Beasts content, join us on social media. We're on Instagram and TikTok at Booty and the Beasts AU. Well, Kim Kardashian is loved by many. I'm certainly not one of her fans, but our next letter is about how she inspires the young, if you can believe it. Tim has this one.
Yes, this is from Louise from Parramatta, who writes, "My daughter is a big Kim Kardashian fan." Well, right away we've got problems here, don't we? Because if she was an original Kim Kardashian fan, she's probably 40 years old. They could be making a good decision. But let's continue with Louise Parramatta. She now could help her spend $148 on a pierced nipple bra that Kim has taken to wearing, presumably around her waist these days. I am not a prude, and I like to encourage my daughter to take pride in her appearance, but I am worried this is get too far. My daughter says it's all about women's empowerment. Okay, I can't start losing at this point. But I just think it sounds like a whole lot of pain and a stupid fashion trend. What do you guys think? Should I help her buy the bra and a beast? Would you get on my pierced nipple shown through a t-shirt? Louise from Parramatta. You shouldn't help her buy the bra because she, obviously, if she's capable of making decisions about nipple piercing by herself, she's presumably got access to her own money. She
Correct.
Possibly has a job. And so that decision's largely out of your hands. The turned on by pierced nipples, oh no. No. That's looks painful, and I presume is not. I'll defer to anyone who's got this unfortunate personal situation, but I assume presents some difficulties in any kind of romantic environment.
Yeah, I've got a rule in my house. My girls can pierce their ears as many times as they want. Nothing on the face. No nose rings, no lip rings. My daughter has got a belly button ring, and that was pushing the boundaries. But I don't know if I'm an old fogey. Libbi might have an issue with this because I don't like piercings on the face.
I don't either. The whole notion of empowerment for women was being able to earn your own money and have choices in terms of education, how you spend it and what you do with your time. And if your daughter is truly empowered, then she can buy the damn thing herself. And if you're truly empowered, you can send her off to do that. I mean, here's the thing. The whole thing underneath this bra that's got the nipples on it is so that when you walk into a room, regardless of the weather, it looks like your nipples are erect to show that you're somehow excited to be there. Now, in winter, you can achieve this same effect just by turning off the heating. Quite frankly, we're at a cost of living crisis. You've got to have a benefit somewhere.
No. We're all missing the point about this entire issue. And it's, why would you be asking a question about your daughter if men would be turned on by her wearing a shirt with the nipples showing and piercings? I mean, at what point, this isn't about being a prude. This is about having to acknowledge the fact that A, you are a parent here and have a responsibility to your child. B, $148 on a piece of cheap and nasty polyester that's been made in China by a woman who's been revered globally because she got urinated on in a sex tape probably isn't the kind of role model that you should want for your daughter. Let's make that abundantly clear in all of this, right? You're the mum who set the tone and be a good example for her.
Also, Lucy, I will say, if getting urinated on will make me millions of dollars, I will do it.
Exactly. No, Rob, no.
$1,000, yep.
Well, back on the table here, I have zero
Kim
support.
Kardashian is mega rich because of that.
Yeah, and she's also mega soulless and moral and bankrupt. So we put her emphasis on
I'm a net water.
Lucy, Carlotta,
Listen.
the Dane has entered the fray.
Yeah. If you've got daughters, don't let them watch the Kardashians because they have ruined a lot of young girls' lives. They are following these girls, got plastic, they call me queer, got plastic tits, got arseholes like trays, you could have a supper on them. They've got little legs, and they invented this thing which everyone is taking up now, which I get so sick of. Oh, a selfie. Oh. They go out, they go to the toilet, they're going to take a selfie. I'm sorry, Kardashians to me have done a lot of damage, and getting back to the girl getting a apple pierce, dads protect their daughters.
Sorry, I just thought I'd get a selfie because Carlotta's at my place.
It's a Kardashian in the house.
That's what you call a seat stealer.
Do you have a question for our panel? Go to Instagram or TikTok and search for Booty and the Beasts AU. We'd love to hear from you. Well, no one likes being told what to do, but especially how to raise their kids. Lucy has our next question.
Yes, it's certainly a big topic of conversation. Our next letter is, Dear B&B, I'm sick of the government education department and do-gooders telling me how I should raise my children. Hear, hear. I have 3, ranging from 2 to 12, and occasionally when the toddler loses it, which is often, or has an uncontrollable tantrum, I give him a smack on the bottom. When I did this in front of a friend, she was horrified and accused me of abuse. Then the other day, my 12-year-old came home and told me she had been taught her rights at school and she no longer has to listen to me when I tell her to go to bed or stop playing on her laptop. How about you charge her rent and tell her to start paying the bills then too, by the way? I have strict rules at home and I raise my children with love and respect for others. Where do my rights as a parent kick in, or is that an old-fashioned notion? This one's from Frustrated Fran from South Perth. Fran, I am frustrated with you and I am in full solidarity of a light little tap on the bum. I know that we've recently seen a massive shift with some states trying to advocate for laws to outlaw smacking on the bottom. No one is suggesting that we need to go back to the bad old days of caning the bejesus out of our kids with the belt and the strap at school, but what we've seen now is a massive swing in the other direction. The pendulum has swung too far and the tail is now wagging the dog. You have children like the one specified in this letter coming home and suggesting that they have rights and you can't tell me what to do. Actually, yes, I can. And the reason why is because the fact that we've adopted that type of attitude is what's contributing to this youth crisis, this crime crisis that we're staring down the barrel of. Guess what? I got a smack on the bum. I'm an award-winning journalist and I have a lot to show for it right now. How many of our panelists here got a smack on the bum? Raise of hands, please.
Just this morning.
There we go.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Booty and the Beasts. To find more episodes, or maybe even ask us a question, because we'll certainly help you, I'm sure. Make sure you follow us on social media at Instagram and TikTok at Booty and the Beasts AU. That's Booty and the Beasts AU. A big thanks to our entire panel. And remember, whatever you heard tonight, McKnight was right, they were wrong. I'm Rob McKnight. We'll see you soon.